Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. I've had a very busy day today. I started off early this morning. I said to myself, looking at my nets at my window, they need washing, they need changing. So I thought I'll change the nets and clean the windows. Went to look for the nets that I took off the last time. I'd folded them up carefully and put them away upstairs, but I had forgot to wash them. So I had to put those in the washer, and I took the other ones down off the, well, I intended to do all the downstairs, and I have a large sitting room window, a large dining room window, and then I have it's quite large, my kitchen window, but not as large as the other two windows. And then I have a small window at down the bottom of my stairs in the passage. So they were the ones I intended doing. So I took the one down from the net down from the living room, and I cleaned the window and all the, well, it's that, I don't know, it's used double glazing, it's not wood, I don't know what it's made of. But that plastic stuff, cleaned all that. And then I thought, oh, I'm going to clean the window outside because I could see some dirty spots on. So I went outside, cleaned that window. So I thought, well, I'm outside, I might as well do the whole lot. So I went round the side of my house and cleaned the small side window at the bottom of my stairs. And I went in the back and cleaned the kitchen window and the dining window. And then I also have an outhouse that has two windows. There's one window for the toilet and one for the outhouse itself, and that's quite a large one. By the time I had cleaned all those, you know, up and down the steps, I got those two-step stool thing, you know. By the time I'd up and down them, I don't know how many times, and as the saying goes, I was knackered. So I came back into the house anyway, and I got the bit of net that I'd hung out on the line that I had washed. It was dry, so I brought that in and I put it up in the living room. And I thought the rest of those windows downstairs are going to wait for another day. So I thought to myself, I'll have some lunch. And I sat down to do a little bit knitting, and I was going to go out in the garden and do a little bit knitting, but I got a message from my granddaughter's partner, Craig. He had finished half day, his work had finished half day, and my granddaughter Cheryl had went to work in the afternoon. She works in those, you know, the nail salons, do the fancy nails and things like that. So she went in the afternoon, so Craig was looking after the kids, so I get the message, "You doing much, Sheila?" So he took the kids to the park first, but then he came up to mine with them. And I think I spent all afternoon, they were in the back garden. We went for a long walk first. I have a lot of nice walks around where I live. I have a cycle path just runs along the bottom of my garden, and you just follow the cycle path around some lovely walks around. There used to be pit heaps and that years ago. There's some nice walks and that, so I thought I'm going to keep them out the garden because I've just planted stuff in my garden, beetroot and lettuce and that. The onions are okay, they are coming through, or, you know, they're quite a good size now. But I've only just planted the beetroot and the lettuce, and I had intended to plant some peas today, but that I got stopped. So we went for a nice long walk around the tracks, and that kept them out of trouble for a little while. And then we came back and made drinks, and the older boy, Frankie, he loves when he comes to my house to make his own pot of tea. And he made a pot of tea, and I was stirring the tea bags in the pot for him, and thought, that tea doesn't look very hot. So I put the spoon in and had a sipped spoon out of it, and it was just lukewarm. I says, Frankie, I says, you never let the kettle boil? He says, I did. There was steam coming out. I says, but this, I says, it's only warm, the thing. I says, it's not even hot enough for to get the tea out of the tea bags. I says, you've got to wait until it boils. I says, and then it switches itself off. It did. I says, it did not. So anyway, he was going to make a cup of tea for me, and I says, it doesn't matter, I'll have a cup. If I'll have a cup of coffee, you can have the tea. He drank, he had himself a cup and drank it, and he says, it's not very hot. I says, I told you it wasn't. I says, you didn't let the kettle boil, man. So anyway, we had a drink and went out in the garden, and of course the two youngest ones, I've got a very large patio, there's soil all over the place, the soil all over my little green. The little one just throws it all over the place, and the 5-year-old's not much better. And then he started digging in the bottom of me with his cars. The 2-year-old, he likes to put his cars into the soil, and when I looked, yeah, he was digging in where I had planted all the beetroot and the lettuce and that, so I was shouting at him to get out, and so he started whinging. I said, you can whinge as much as you like, you're not ruining my planting stuff. And so anyway, I had a bit of play around the garden, because I've got a few toys and that that Cheryl's brought from her house, scooters and little bike thing, and I've got bags and boxings of toys in the house I had to play with anyway, but they were playing with those, and then the two younger ones fighting over this little thing and that little thing, and I was sort of relieved actually when they went home. I says, bye Craig, it's nice to see you, but it's nice to see you going all. Which they did. And then my neighbour come up and we had a bit of chat at the gate for a good while and that. And I've come in and I'm just resting, doing a little bit knitting. It's 6 o'clock now, but I'm just sitting having a rest and doing a little bit of knitting. I've gotten a little bit further with this, and I'm just having a little bit of rest before I make myself some tea. I went out and swept up before they went home anyway. I'd swept up all the mess off the patio and put all the soil back where it went to while I was doing that, and they were making more while I was doing it. And yeah, I'm glad they only come up now and again, because I'd kill them like to come up too often. But this is one of those patterns. It's like it pulls in a bit. It's after it's been washed a couple of times, it sort of flattens out a bit, but you can see when you're looking at it, it's sort of like the way a rib does, it comes in a little bit. But I thought I could have had quite a bit of this done today. But you know, when you're not expecting visitors and they come anyway, like. So after I sit down here and have a little bit more rest, I'm going to have a look and see what I've got for my tea. And them kids, when they come up, they were looking in the freezer, looking for ice lollies. I said, I don't do my shopping till tomorrow. I wasn't expecting you coming up today. There's no ice lollies. There's no nothing. I had to get my shopping in tomorrow. I says, you had your sweets yesterday, because I was at their house yesterday and took them sweets. I said, I've got no sweets. That's the first thing they say when they come in the house. You got any sweets? You know, I haven't got any sweets. She says, you'll get them next time I'm at your house. I says, I want to do my shopping. I buy things like that when I do my shopping. I don't, just get them every time you come. It cost me a fortune. I'm only a pensioner, you know. But that's kids for you. They don't think about that. Think about their own stomachs, that's all, like, isn't it? But they're away home now and it's lovely and quiet here, and the two youngest ones were fighting. He's got this, it's like a car thing when you open it up, and it's got like a little track thing, and it's got tiny little cars in it. There was 4 of them, but we've only got 1 left because the youngest one, Eddie, used to keep going burying things in the soil. And when I was digging over the garden, I never came across the other three, so they're dug in the garden somewhere. Of course, they were fighting over this one little car, and Eddie kept saying mine. It was mine, mine, and Tommy was trying to take it off him and trying to persuade him to let him have it, and the fighting was just going on and on and on. So I took it off them at the finish when they were fighting over it earlier on. I took it off them and I put it on the bench out the way. I says, if you're going to fight over it, neither of you is having it. But then their dad came in later on and gave it to Eddie, did he? Took it off the bench and gave it to Eddie. And that's how the fighting started again. So I've had a little bit of rest, so I think I might go and make myself some tea. So like my video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll tell you next time whatever I get up to. Bye for now.